Do you have a song and story you want to share, maybe even beyond the podcast? Email us at tunesandtalespod@gmail.com. Thank you. Happy Reset Day and welcome to the very first episode of the Tunes and Tales podcast. I'm your host, Jay. I'm so happy to have you. I'm so happy you're here. Listen, if you're here on purpose, if you clicked on it by accident, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Happy to have you. Let's build this community. So Tunes and Tales is pretty much a podcast about people sharing stories and the songs that triggered those memories and those stories. So this season we're gonna have a bunch of incredible people on. They're gonna be telling some incredible funny stories, some serious stories. And I just want to take the time out to thank them for coming on, thank them for sharing their stories and making this podcast a possibility. Let's get into it, I guess. Where can you listen to this podcast? I mean, wherever you're listening to it now, wherever you're watching it now. If you want to listen, it's all on all the platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. It's on all those platforms, ready for you. If you want to watch it, we got a YouTube page. You can go on YouTube, subscribe, watch it on YouTube. Also have a YouTube clips page. After every episode, we'll do clips and put out on that page. All right, let's get through the notes before we get into the episode. Where can you find us? Well, social media. That is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever the hell you call that shit. What else? What else we got? TikTok, Chinese spyware. No, I'm playing. And all those, it's going to be Tunes and Tales podcast. Just search that and follow us. Also, while you're following us, and if you listen to the episode and you love it, give us a like, give us a share, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? Just help us out, help us build this community and make this podcast something great. And last but not least, if you want to message us, talk to us, maybe even be on the podcast, share your own story, email us at tunesandtalespod@gmail.com. All right, let's get into the show. So before we get into today's guest, the first episode, it's kind of already having problems, technical difficulty. So the video for this episode somehow got corrupted. Premiere Pro, I'm not sure, but so this episode is going to be audio only. It's kind of unfortunate because this was a really great episode, really insightful dude, and we talked about a lot, and I wish we had the video to go along with it, but for just this week it's going to be audio only. But I mean, doesn't take away from it, and I think you guys will love it anyway. All right, so today's guest, he is a musician. Today's guest, he's a musician. He produces, he sings. He's half of the incredible duo of Saint Abraham. He's worked with major brands before as a kid, basically. He was a band member on tour with two-time Grammy-nominated artist Sid. He's currently living in LA, but in this episode, we talk about him spreading his roots and growing up as a kid in Boston. Ladies and gentlemen, Abraham. Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro. Yeah.
How's it in LA?
Man, it's great. It's been great so far. I just moved out here. Well, I was here since April of last year, but I was working. So it was a lot of back and forth. But came back in January, and I've been here since January.
Obviously, it's better than being in Boston.
Well, there's good and bad. There's just good and bad, like I can't find no Caribbean food in LA. No Haitian food, like Jamaican rarely, but you got to go far out for it. Or you got to know somebody's auntie or something like that.
Right, you got to know the hookup. Right.
Exactly. So I missed that for sure. But after that, I mean, the weather's good. This year was a little rough. It's been rainy. But yeah, I'm glad to be closer to the music industry, definitely out here.
Right. So that's, yeah, I mean, obviously that's the goal for you. So yeah, that's dope, man. That's awesome. I have a couple friends in LA, but they all love it.
Right, it's great. It's expensive, but I mean, everywhere is expensive now.
Nah. LA expenses is different, bro. And them taxes, them taxes is fuck that, dude. I live in fucking Alaska before I lived there and pay them taxes, dude. That's crazy. But yeah, we can jump into it. So being, I guess, growing up in Boston, what was that like? What was the memory?
It was more of on the family side of Boston. You know, I mean, growing up, I was always around Caribbean. I'm Haitian, obviously, but if you know that, I'm Haitian, and I grew up around that. Like, even the middle school I went to was just all Caribbean people. All like all my teachers were women, either like from Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica. Like, I grew up around that the whole time. So connecting that with music, it didn't really click until like my high school years. But music was all around me. Looking at it in hindsight, you know, I didn't know too much back then, but I was still in like the learning stages. But yeah, it was always around me. My ears were always open. Yeah, and I'm realizing that through this conversation too, as we get deeper. But yeah.
That's awesome. So pretty much, I mean, people will. So the introductions will be done later on, just so if you're wondering. So they'll know like what you do and all that stuff. But like, so people who don't know, like, you're a full blown musician. Like, this is what you do. So like growing up, did you always knew like it's music for me? Like, you know? No,
I didn't always know.
So where did the music part come in?
Sophomore, junior year of high school.
Got you.
Yeah.
So wait, so it was that far along, like high school. It wasn't as a kid, like you didn't hit a piano and be like, yo, this is it. Like I hit that G, like that G note.
Because like it was different. Like, so the background story, my mom always wanted to be a musician or just have her own like all woman band. And like just her love for music is where I get my love for music.
Right.
But the difference was she was shunned away from doing that by her parents in Haiti because, you know, musicians just had a bad rep in general.
Yeah, it probably wasn't like a safe, quote unquote, safe thing to do. Yeah.
I wouldn't say safe for them. It was more about image, you know. Musicians are, you know, they always on drugs. They're always, you know, low life type vibe. Yeah, like low life, you know, bottom of the food chain type. So they kind of shunned her away from taking piano lessons, so she never got a chance to. But she vowed that if she ever were to have children, she would put them into music lessons. So that's where I came out, where I came about. She put me in piano lessons from like the age of, I want to say 6 or 7. Yeah, when I started taking like classical piano.
Okay, so was the process of learning piano, was that I'm happy to do it, or I'm doing it because mom said do it?
At first, it's because mom said do it. Yeah, it was like another after school activity that I saw she put a lot of worth in. So I was like, all right, cool. Like, it's cool. It's nice to learn a skill. Music was always around me. But the connection just wasn't there yet. It was just like, I'm just showing up. I'm reading these notes and I'm playing it back for you. And hopefully it's right. And I'm just, you know, playing Beethoven and Chopin.
I mean, it paid off though, obviously.
I mean, yeah, look at it.
All right, so let's step outside of the music for a little bit. So just memories of being a kid. Like what are some memories that stand out? Like, hey, as a kid, like, you know, like I remember this specific moment, or like what are some memories that stand out of you being a kid?
The neighborhood I was in, we will always just play in the streets all the time.
Right, bro. Kids don't go outside anymore. You know this shit, right?
Kids do not go outside.
I sound like an old ass man saying this shit. Like, yo, kids don't go outside.
It's like everyone's just on Twitch or like at home recording themselves.
Just streaming some shit, right?
Streaming something. It's like, bro, like, have you ever like just hung out? Like, but it's different, you know. I can't really blame them because we have so much now. There's so much technology.
Right. We
like,
didn't have Netflix back then. Yeah.
Nah, yeah, like this is their life, bro. And for us, we didn't have anything. We had what, AOL chat,
the fucking, you know, dial-up.
Like, yeah, bro. Like we had AIM. You know, after school we'll go on AIM and like, you know, chat. You know, MySpace wasn't around just yet, but when that came about, you know, so yeah. If it wasn't that, we were outside playing we were playing kickball, playing, riding bikes around the neighborhood. Like, it was just hanging with your friends in person, like eating together, laughing together, watching movie nights and stuff like that. Like, that was my childhood in Hyde Park in Boston. Yeah.
Hyde Park. Okay. So you
I was going to say, outside of just like the home stuff, it was also the church life as well, where, music was heavily there too. And that was also tied to music. We can get to that later, but
yeah. Before we jump to because I want to touch on the religion and church part of our childhood, because I kind of have the same, obviously not the music aspect, but as far as like the growing up in church before I moved to America, at least I kind of have that same connection. But you mentioned playing with friends as a kid. Do you remember like making friends easily as a kid? Because I feel like as kids growing up, like friendships, like developing friendships can literally make or break the person. Because you have some psychopaths that are created because they didn't have friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like, how was making like friends for you as a kid?
I would say it was pretty easy.
Okay.
I was pretty easy to get along with. It'll be as simple as just sharing something, and then you show me a good favor, I show you a good favor, and then now we're friends, like forever type thing,
Yeah, when you think about it, it's really not that hard.
No, it was really
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was really light. If you did something cool, or you know what I mean, you made a nice shot, like at recess playing basketball.
Right.
But, oh man, you're killing! Like let's play like later on, you know what I mean, and just build from there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think it was something good that qualified them to be my friend, but it was just like,
it's based on usually it's based on a moment, or like
right, or similar interests.
Funny, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't so hard. I was also like, looking back, I was a teaser a lot.
Oh, so, you was cracking jokes.
I used to crack jokes, bro. Like, it was bad. Looking back, it was like, damn. Not on some like bullying, like not on some bullying, but I don't know. I mean, I can't say that. If the person might, low key.
Man, listen. It was a different era, bro.
I love cracking on people, bro.
But it's fun. It's more fun when they crack back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If when you crack and they like take it personal, you kind of feel shitty because that's not your intention.
Exactly.
Obviously, but like, yeah.
I don't double down at that point. I just like leave it alone.
I mean, it depends on who you're talking to.
That's facts.
So with that said, it sounds like you're an extroverted kid growing up. Like, were there moments of shyness or like?
Yeah, definitely. It was
okay.
both. It was. I mean, till this day, it's still both. Once I'm comfortable with you, you'll see like I'm 1,000% like me. Like I'm doing everything. But if I don't know you, I'm feel you out. Like, all right, what can what are you about? What can I actually be myself around you and not feel like any type of judgment or just feel weird? Yeah. And I don't really feel comfortable like showing, I mean, I never did as a kid either, just showing too much of myself to strangers until like I get to know them. I guess you can call that trust issues now.
Trust issues.
Shout out to Drake.
Hey, we all got him, bro. We all fucking got him. But okay, cool. So the childhood aspect of your story, to me it's fascinating because I said this earlier, like it's your childhood kind of forms who you are. Like it forms the person we all become, like good or bad, from a bad parent to that one time you went somewhere, like. So thinking back, and I'm kind of putting you on the spot, what's a moment or something that happened that kind of like you can definitively say like that moment kind of like, for good or bad, made me this way? Not necessarily made you that type of person, but made me this way or think this way or see the world this way.
There were times like I'd get really anxious. I didn't even know what that word was back then. But like I definitely had strong anxiety as a kid. I always felt like I was being monitored, I was being watched, or like you pull up to school and you're like, oh damn, what are they gonna say about my sneakers? What are they gonna say about And I don't know, I had
Facts.
this thing, bro. I get so anxious about like, I think it was gym class. Like we had gym every Fridays or something. And I don't know, in the mornings on the way, I'm like, damn, I don't want to go to gym class. And thinking about it, I'm trying to think why.
Was it the sneakers?
I don't know what it was, bro. I was just really insecure about something. I don't even know. I mean, I was pretty husky growing up.
Right.
I'm still pretty husky now, but like, I don't know what it was really. But looking back, I do remember like anxiety, like I'm throwing up type. Like,
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's like your body's physically reacting like, don't do this.
and yeah, that tied also into like performance too. Like when I started playing at church, you know, I think those moments, it showed that I cared sometimes about the wrong things. In terms of music, I feel like I cared about how I performed and how like things would be delivered to the audience and to those listening. But then I'd also like, my mom really helped me out through those times. Like, you know, you're taking things too seriously, you know, and that really stuck with me till this day. It's like, just give yourself some grace, you know. And I think, yeah, I learned that principle at an early age because I was really, really hard on myself.
And it's good because I feel like not most kids, but you do have kids like yourself who are harder on themselves, but they don't have that, you know, not even the parent, but that figure in their life or a guardian to be like, hey, like, you're going to be fine, you know, because a lot of kids don't have reassurances and, you know.
And
so,
for
yeah,
you,
that's awesome.
that's your whole world. Like,
Exactly. That's all you know. Like, you think this is the beginning and end, right?
and you're going to see this world every day from 7 a.m. till 3 p.m. Like, that is your world.
If I show up with some terrible kicks, it's over. You know what I mean? Like,
Over. You show up with some USPA or something, it's over. They're killing you.
yo, I remember that shit. The fucking the bootleg polo.
Oh my God. They're killing you, bro.
That's hilarious.
Terrible.
All right. Because, you know, it's funny because I remember, like, so when I moved to America, I moved there in probably, I'm going to say, the 8th grade because it was my final year of middle school. And the concept of not wearing a uniform to school was foreign to me. Because, you know, growing up in Jamaica, like, every school is a uniform. Like, you got the
even
colors.
I wore uniform, yeah, private school. Right. Yeah.
So the school I went to, I remember the name. I think it got shut down, but the school I went to, you didn't have to, or they had a uniform, but you didn't have to wear the uniform. And my mom was such a fucking immigrant. She was insistent on me wearing the uniform.
Oh, yeah, you gotta look right.
Right.
Represent your family.
You know, it's the blue shirt, the navy pants. And when I tell you, I am the only kid in that school wearing a uniform. You want to talk about insecure? Like, and they're all looking at you like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're like, you don't have clothes? Like, yeah, bro. Oh my, it was rough, man. It was rough. On top of that, it's my first time there, like, legit fresh off the boat. Like, it was bad. It was bad. I didn't talk that. I legit asked anybody I went to middle school. I did not say a word unless it was like an assignment in class. I did not say a word to anybody. That's how traumatizing that shit was.
Oh my God, yeah.
You mentioned your mom was like very important in that time of your life. What was your, I'm assuming good, but what was your relationship with your mom growing up? What was that like? Was she a tough parent or understanding?
No, both my mom and dad were very, very understanding. You know, they made sure to let me know what is right. You know, they gave me their values. And yeah, instilled that in me from a young age, in the household and even outside, knowing how to carry yourself, you know, and also stay true to your name and to respect your name. And yeah, they were pretty, you know, when I messed up, you know, I definitely got a couple lashes. I know we don't do lashes no more, but
right, no, it's illegal now.
Yeah, I definitely got a couple lashes, but
so as a kid, what are some things you can say you got away with that your parents probably don't know till this day?
But I feel like they already know. That's the thing. Like, I feel like I can't think of anything I got away with that they don't know already.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, like even like smoking, like sneaking off and getting high or whatever. Like, yeah, they definitely found out when I showed up at the crib with sleepy red eyes.
Just they ain't saying nothing, or like
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh man, you had a long day today, huh? You look so tired."
That's fucking hilarious.
Big little guilt trip because they know
Right.
you high, like. But it's not like on some you're grounded or nothing. It's like, all right, like I mean, at that age, I was, I wasn't smoking at like 10 years old, but I think I was more of a teenager. As a kid, though, I can't think of anything I've gotten away with.
You have amazing parents, bro. You have very understanding. You definitely blessed, bro.
Bro, for real.
Definitely blessed, man.
For
That's
real.
dope.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump back into the music part of it. So, like I said, you can circle back to the church.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you're in church. You're learning the piano. Like, so are you still learning the piano?
10, 11, yeah. So I was in lessons from like 7 till about 14, 15, I would say. It just progressed from, beginner, classical, and then learning like church hymns, And that was like 10 to 13 church hymns. And then I was grateful enough, my teacher, his name was Hans Philippo. He had the academy. He still has it now to this day. It's called Adagio Music Academy in Boston. And he gave me the chance to be his assistant teacher. And that was like one of my first jobs. And I was like 13. 13, yeah. I would teach with him every Sunday. I would get because he had a lot of students and it was piling up. So he would give me the excess, maybe 3 or 4. And that was my first like real job. I would go there and I would teach kids, even some adults that were like much older than me that wanted to learn piano. I was like teaching some 30-year-old dude at 13.
How they take it?
Yeah, how to play hot cross buns.
Fucking nursery rhymes.
Like
That's fucking hilarious.
It was pretty cool. But yeah, from like 10 to 13, like when it went to church on Saturday, so Saturday morning, I would just be back to the anxiety, just throwing up sick. I'm like, man, my parents like, man, like maybe we just shouldn't go to church. Like he's low. My mom, mom.
Yeah.
Like, he just gets so
sick. Did she know
sick.
it's because you're about to play for
the
church?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
She's like, man, he just gets so sick, man. Literally, 9 a.m. I'm like slowly putting my church clothes on.
That's a different type of nerves, bro.
I know I have to sit in front of this whole congregation, and they have the musicians on stage, So the pulpit, the singers, and then the musicians are like to the corner, and you're in front of all these people, and you can't mess this up because it's service,
Right. You can't hit that wrong key. Bro, you're just gonna throw the whole song off.
So much going through my mind, bro. Like, I lived in my head. I still I'm much better now. I'm getting better, but lived in my head, like just overthinking everything. And yeah, but that was my church. After, I got my nerves over, I got more comfortable. It kind of, I would say it forced me to spend more time with my instrument and, get more comfortable. And once that happened, like the rest is history.
So the nerves part, did you because you perform to this day, do you ever come up with a routine? So all right, this is what I'm gonna do before every time I go on stage?
Nah, I can't say that I have. I mean,
so when you perform now, say you perform tonight, you just walk on, obviously you you practice, you make sure you're
once I practice, everything is right. I don't know, I'm already confirmed days in advance with myself. Like, yo, you already know this, The most I'll do before I get on stage is take a shot of tequila or something.
But no more throwing up.
Right. That's the most I'll do. Take a shot, loosen up a little bit. But I never really had a routine, One thing I would do, I would notice. I would say I started noticing my body more, things that I would do when I'm anxious, and I realized my hands would be cramped up like this sometimes.
Okay.
Both hands, sometimes one hand, and I'm just release, open your hand, and I'm just okay, wow, that feels a lot better, and then just some. You know what I mean? But it's little things that you don't realize. Yeah, that you don't realize that you do that's affecting you. And then, deep breaths, long, deep breaths.
As I was getting into that, so like, at what point did you know? Because obviously, there had to be a point you stopped throwing up. So
Yeah.
at what point? At what point you're like, you know what? Like, do you feel like you developed that confidence as a kid, or did it take until adulthood to be like, you know what, I'm a professional now, like I can do this?
Yeah, I think once 13, 14, because at that point, I worked it out like at home. Like I remember just being in front of the piano, learning this thing over and over again, not getting it. I'd be in tears, like I need to get this, like I need this, you know what I mean? Like, because at that point, the love for music had grown, you know? Because from classical music, it's very, I don't want to say robotic. That's the only word that's coming to mind right now, because you're reading notes, you're reading sheet music, I mean, and you're just reiterating what's already been done. You know, you may add your own flair to it, but for me at the time, I didn't really understand the relationship between chords and notes and how everything came together. I just knew it sounded right, and my teacher said it sounded right, you know? So after that, I got into like church music, gospel, and I started to really understand the relationship between these things and actually fully understand how to move around music, how to communicate. And that's when the love started to grow, and that's when I really started to practice because I wanted to, and not because my mom said I had to practice for an hour a day.
That's when it switched from a chore essentially to like,
exactly.
All right, I'm passionate about this.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
That's dope.
And the rest, yeah, that just went crazy after
you
that.
just hit the ground running. So let's jump to your high school years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What role did music play for you in high school? Was it like a form of therapy? Was it like a form of an escape?
So high school, it was less of piano, more of beats. Because everyone was a rapper in high school.
Yeah, bro. I definitely tried to be a producer in high school. I was a solid 2 weeks and I was out. I was like,
bro,
I can't do
all
this
the
shit.
homies, bro, all the homies were like, yo, we got to start rapping, like make beats.
Facts.
And I was one of the only ones that was like in music production, like actually like cooking up, making,
right.
like I had the software and like actually knowing how to put a beat together. I started with Reason.
Okay.
Yeah, I started with Reason, then I went to Logic.
Usually it was Logic, or what's the other one? Pro Tools or something like that?
Pro Tools, FL Studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fruity Loops.
Fruity fucking Loops, man.
Yep.
Loops.
Yep. So it was less of piano and it was more of just making beats, because I was literally getting paid. Like I didn't have a job. So high school, I was getting paid to like make beats.
Interesting. I did not know that. Okay.
Oh yeah, like I was selling beats.
How did that go about? What was like the first time you made money from a beat?
I remember one specific guy. He was this actually Jamaican guy, Jamaican artist, Jamaican gospel artist. I can't remember his name right now, but he was older and he just really believed in my sound, and we had a good time making music. And he would literally like pull up to the crib, like imagine like being
right, grown ass man,
bro, being parents to a kid, you know, he's like 15, 16, and a grown ass man comes in their house to like make music.
But this goes back to you having cool ass parents, though. If you didn't have cool ass parents, that shit ain't happening, bro.
And not at all.
You know what I mean? Like,
not at all. And yeah, I remember, we would do projects and it'll be like, you know, 3-4 songs, and he'll give me like 300, and I'm like, wow, I can actually like make some bread.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, like I could actually make some bread off of this. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. It was just, I didn't know about publishing. I didn't know about any of this. It was just
giving them a beat and like, all right.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah. We were making songs too. It wasn't even just like beats. Like it was like arranging each section. Like it was a whole different. It wasn't just like making loops. You know, like nowadays everyone just make loops and stuff. But it was actually like making songs with this guy. And yeah, I never really thought, I like this conversation. I never really thought about that until now. Like I actually, these moments actually like mean so much now, because like looking what I'm doing now, it's all aligned. Yeah, it's all aligned.
In terms of your story, I feel like, and obviously I don't know your whole life, but like just hearing the tidbits, it sounds like these little moments just all accumulated to stepping stones to the level of life you're at now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It sounds like it just makes sense. Like, you know, if you like just end this interview and write out like person A did this as a kid, this as a kid. I'm like, all right, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense. Makes sense. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I never saw it as a career in high school. Like that's why I said it was less of piano. I was still playing, you know, but I'm like, man, ain't nobody making money doing this really. Like I really want, and then, you know, I went to excuse me. I went to you know, health careers. We went to the same high school. Yeah. So I mean, I wanted to be, you know, get into that, you know, health professions, you know, okay, do something along those lines or something that's making some bread. Like music is always gonna be there.
Yeah.
And that's what was always told to me. Like everyone's like, yeah, you're talented, but you know, you have that for life. Like you'll always have it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Maybe I can just get a, you know, career and then be the doctor that plays piano on the side for his patients.
No bullshit.
You know?
You would kill it on TikTok now if you're a doctor that plays piano. What?
Bruh. That'll be nuts. I'll be in my scrubs and singing John Legend. It wasn't really there for me in high school. It was more so you know, last minute resort. Like it's always gonna be there, so I might as well get something that's more sustainable.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now what would you say your, I guess, first professional opportunity was?
My first one, it was a collab. So I met this guy in high school. His name was Jay Andre. His name is Jay Andre. He's still around.
Okay.
And we started this group production company, Jay and Keys Productions.
Okay.
And we were, our goal was to make beats for all the Boston artists, rappers, whatever. And we got this commercial opportunity that came out. And I want to say it was some liquor. Maybe it was like...
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, like a liquor commercial, like on Vimeo. It was like a Vimeo thing.
Okay.
It might have been Hennessy. I don't remember what it was.
So you out here making music for Hennessy, bro?
Yeah, we had to make. I remember he hit me up. He was like, "Yo, we have to make what was the style? Like not Indian, but I think it was like some style of music to be in the background of this commercial,
right?
For this liquor, and I think it was like French Montana, some artist that we really like rocked with back then that was like on the come up,
right?
Was on there, and I was like, yo, this is big, because like it's, you know, this liquor and this artist in the video, and I did the music for the commercial, and I'm like, oh wow, like we actually got something here. And I was like 16, 17, yeah.
That is bro, how do you stay humble? Do you understand like, do you understand the level of ego I would have? Like, I was like, peasants, do not talk to me. Like,
I mean, like, I don't think it wasn't on television, but it was just a commercial, like, around, you know.
Right. But I feel like just knowing you're at that level where you're working with quote unquote industry people. Yeah. Like, that's a huge, at 16, dude, that's a huge accomplishment.
It was,
That's awesome.
Yeah. That was what I can remember. Like, that's my first professional, I guess,
how did it go? Like, did it turn out well? Were there any hiccups?
No, I mean, we made the beat, and they accepted it. Yeah, it was just, it happened really fast over the weekend.
Damn, you didn't save the commercial?
I might have it somewhere, like in my old email.
Please, after this interview, if you can please find it.
I will look for it. I'll send it to you.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, I remember it was on Vimeo. Yeah, they sent me a Vimeo link, and yeah, I'm gonna find it. I might hit him up and ask him about it too. It was so long ago.
All right, so now we've gone from you being a kid growing up in Boston and essentially this music throughout your life. What role does music play on a personal, professional level in your life right now as we speak?
It's everything. It's everything. You know, personal, I don't really listen to what I play most of the time. I'm listening to things that just make me feel good. A lot of 70s music, some folk music here and there.
Wait, stop. Hold on. You said 70s music?
Yeah, like
what?
From the 70s, 80s, like the Dramatics, Delphonics.
Okay.
You know, like,
man, got taste.
Oh yeah, bro.
See you, bro.
Old school, like the best. I think that was the best era of music. Yeah. So that's me personally. Professionally, it's for now it's just sharpening my skills. I'm learning what's needed in the industry and what's needed of me. And typically, you're not just being a keyboardist or pianist. You're being that and also being a director or knowing how to program a live show and make things ready for stage, stage level, stage ready or festival ready or whatever. And also knowing other instruments, knowing how to play other instruments as well. So it's a lot more of, before it was, I play piano, it's fun, I have the skill, but now it's like, all right, now you need to do this to actually fulfill your career as a musician.
Right.
And have other notches on your belt.
Now, on the professional side, is there anybody you're working with that you can say at the moment, or just finished working with, or recently worked with, or?
Yeah, I just recently, and I'm still working with her. Her name is Sid from the internet.
The internet, okay.
Yeah, they came out around 2015, 2016, and that was like a subgroup from Odd Future.
So I was about to say, I literally heard of a band. They consider themselves a band?
Yeah, the internet. Yeah, they're a band. Yeah,
I literally heard of that band because of Tyler's career. So it's fun. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, so like they're all from LA and they all grew up together and sort of, but they all came from being kind of the same story, making beats and making music at a young age, and then continuing with it and turning that into a whole. Everything, just what it is now. A whole life, bro. Yeah. Everyone is huge now. Awesome. Steve Lacy's big, Sid is big, Tyler's big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So dope. I just worked with her. That was the tour I did last year.
Do you have any? Actually, before we do that, how was the tour?
It was great. It was my very first.
It was your first time on tour?
Like on a tour bus, the whole thing, yeah.
Oh, all right, we got to talk about that shit.
Yeah.
So how was, first of all, so many questions. How was being on the tour bus?
It was actually great.
Was it comfortable? Don't lie to me. Was it comfortable? I feel
like
that
lying,
shit's
bro. It's enough space for me, and I'm 5'10", 5'11". I had my own bunk. It was up top. There were about... eight bunks, I think, 8 or 9.
Wow.
And then the master suite for the artists. And yeah, I was on the top. It was just fun. I'll get in there, I'll be all cozied up, enough space to stretch my legs, everything.
How many people were on the bus?
Let me see. So excluding the driver, it was tour manager, 3 engineers. Tour manager, 3 engineers, 4 myself, bassist, 9 of us.
9.
Yeah, okay. 2 in the master suite, and then everybody else. So 8 or 9, yeah.
Yeah, wow. It's a lot of people, man.
Right, but it was a decent sized bus. The common area was cool. 2 couches, we had a fridge, bathroom, TV, of course. So, yeah, it was a decent size. We're not in each other's face all the time, but low key you are. But
I was about to say bullshit.
You didn't feel it as much.
So how many stops did you guys make on the tour?
I want to say we had maybe 20, 22 dates, maybe.
Wow.
I think so.
And that's obviously it's more than 20 actual days because between traveling, and setting up and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So how many days on the road do you think you were?
Man, it's a lot because we did some consecutively on the tour and then we took a break and then we went back, and that's when we went to Japan and Korea. That was later on in the year.
What the fuck?
So there was a whole US run. Okay. And then we did Toronto. Toronto was the only out of state during the tour. But everything else, yeah, we drove.
So all right, before we jump to Japan, because I love that country, so I'm just curious. But before we jump there, real quick, what was being on? Because I've seen some clips that you posted of you performing on stage. What was that first time? That first show. Let's go back to this anxiety we talked about. Did you throw up?
No. So the first show was a festival, actually.
Oh, wow.
So it was a Soul Bloom festival in Sacramento, I think, California. And that was dope. Like a bunch of great artists. I think Smino was up like right before us or after us. Who else was there? Thundercat was there on the other stage, and
Nice. All right.
Summer Walker was on the other stage. Like, it was a whole bunch of crazy artists there. And yeah, I was pretty chill. I was more excited. Yeah, I think I was more excited. Like, I'm finally here.
Oh, I was about to
'cause for
ask.
for the longest time, especially in college, it's a weird feeling where you're in a place that you feel are it's known to qualify you for your future, to qualify you for your career.
Right.
If you're a doctor, you spend this amount of years in college, and then you're qualified to become a doctor and all that.
Right.
But as a musician, I felt like I was already qualified. I just needed the opportunity, like an experience. I was already doing what I wanted to do. I just needed to do it at a higher level and get more money for it.
Very facts.
But I've been doing
stuff.
yeah, like I feel like I've been doing the same thing all my life.
It's just now it's like almost like a validation, right?
Yeah, now I'm at a higher level. Now I know more. Now I could do more. I'm more skilled. But yeah, everything that I've grown to be, like, I feel like it's the same skills, Yeah.
That's dope.
So being on that stage, I'm like, yeah, I'm finally here in front of thousands of people outside, playing with an artist that I used to listen to in high school.
You know what it is? I'm glad you were able to take that in, because I feel like, at least, because I'm a very ambitious person, and I feel like for people with goals and dreams, like, you can get so caught up in getting to that finish line, or whatever your finish line is, whatever your goal is. I feel like a lot of people don't take that time to like recognize stages of that journey. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like I made it halfway, like fucking years ago. I was at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like, so it was dope. You were able to take that moment and be like, bro, like, I'm on the stage with X, Y, and Z. Like, it's fucking person over here, person over there. Like, and I should be here. It's not some imposter thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's awesome.
It's like, man, yeah. It was really good. So it was more of an excitement,
right?
Like anxious excitement than nervous about messing up or anything. I was just like, I'm here to show what I got. Like, it was very much, even just coming out to LA, I feel like I just had something to prove. Like, I've been in Boston for so long, and doing music in Boston is great. And we have incredible musicians and talented musicians that are my peers that live there still. But I don't know. I reached a point where it's like, I'm not, the saying, well, I actually just heard this today, which is funny. It was Steve Harvey who's talking about an oak tree being planted in a 2 foot pot, 2 foot wide pot. And it was saying the oak tree can't grow in that pot. It's 2 feet wide. Like, how are you going to grow in there?
Right.
You got to take those seeds and put it somewhere else in new soil, in a bigger foundation, and where you're actually being seen by the right people, and you're in the right environment, and then you can grow in that environment that you're supposed to be in. So I feel like my plan to come out here was mainly just that. Boston was all the same, and I was making good money, but at the same time, I wanted more in music. I wanted more. I wanted to be working with artists or making music with artists, and all of that. In Boston, it's like you're working for a living, but you're playing bar gigs and you're playing weddings and
It's not the level that most people want.
But
to
don't
be
get
at.
me wrong, like those are still a part of every musician's career. Like when touring around, you're getting a wedding gig, that pays, because
you're gonna take it too. You gotta eat,
bro. You gotta eat. You gotta live, especially in LA. You gotta pay rent. Like, you gotta eat. So as a musician, like, you're not too good for anything as a musician. We are in the service business, no matter what it is. So yeah,
that's good.
I think that was my thing about moving here. I forgot how we got there, but
no. It's appreciating the moment, and it's the steps to get to where you are. All
Yeah.
right. So before we move on to the next segment, we got to talk about Japan because, you know, I travel.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I do. That's my
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
So I haven't been to Japan yet, but how was it, man? How was it?
Beautiful. I have pictures so I can share later, but
Yeah.
we went there for the Fuji Rock Festival. It's a really popular festival. It's been going on for years, and it's not in the Fuji Mountains, but I think it's close by there.
Like in the area, yeah.
Yeah, so you see like beautiful mountains, beautiful sunset. It was just an amazing time, bro. The food there was amazing, everything. Yeah, it was. I didn't spend too much time there. I wish I could have. We were only there for like 5 days. So well, 4 or 5 days.
As was just mostly business, like going to work.
Yeah, we were there for 4 or 5 days. We stayed in Shibuya, and yeah, it was just everything's different. They have cars that open doors, but like taxis open the door by itself.
Yeah, that's got some advanced shit, bro.
It's a whole different.
They're so far ahead of everybody. It's not even funny,
dude. The family marts are great. They stay open 24/7. You know, I did a lot more
clean
like
as hell, dude. I heard they don't litter for shit,
dude. It's so crazy though. They have this thing like businessmen. I read that it's an honor to be asked to go out drinking with your boss, like after work type vibe, and just get shit faced, bro, and just literally. And we would go out, like we did a lot of partying when we were there and just clubbing and seeing how that vibe was. And yeah, on the way back to our hotel, we would see these full suit, briefcase in hand, laid out on the sidewalk, bro. With no care in the world.
Gone.
Their phone would be hanging out their butt pocket, their wallet probably on them, and nobody's bothering them. Everyone's just going about their day, bro. It was the most beautiful thing.
Now imagine that in Boston.
Bro, imagine that in New York or Boston. You're done. You're waking up naked.
Bro, your suit's gone.
You're waking up naked, bro. Naked. You know? But yeah, it was such a good time. Good food. The art, fashion, and just great people. We met a few. Not too many people speak English, but we met a few. I had a friend out there. She's from Okinawa, and she came over to just spend time while we were there with us, and she was our like tour guide for the weekend.
Dope.
Yeah. So it was a good experience. Yeah.
All right. So you want to get into the song?
What's going on, y'all? This is Abraham. And this song is Addictive Love by BB and CC Winans, the great BB and CC Winans.
So let's get into it. Why that song? You kind of get into it a little bit earlier, but why that song?
So aside from how it sounds musically, this is a great song. I just remember the feeling of it, you know, the feeling around it. It was like, all right, okay, I have to go into religion as well because that was the tradition, you know. So Friday night is the Sabbath, and we would be together as a family. It's like our day of rest. So there's no work, no TV, no like, we're just together. We talk about our week, and we just reflect on, you know, on love, on God, and how good, you know, everything has been, or even bad, you know. But just it was our time to like talk together as a family Friday nights, and then Saturday we go to church, and then Saturday night we would end the Sabbath and go back to the week on Sunday. Okay. So Friday, this was like a feeling of whenever, you know, Pops would come home after work and Mom would be just finishing up food for the weekend. So it was like when I heard that song again a few months ago. It was, it just brought back all those senses, you know. And I remember you hit me up about it. It might have been before all this happened, but I was like, wow, like, yeah, this literally happened yesterday. Exactly, you know.
Divine timing, bro.
Yeah, man. But, yeah, so it might have been like a Now gospel, you know, remember those Now CDs?
Yeah.
Like Now That's What I Call Pop or whatever.
Yeah, the gospel versions, right?
Yeah, this must have been the gospel version, and he had that CD in there. And yeah, he'd get home Friday night, and it was time to wind down, and he'd go, press play, food would be done already. And yeah, that song specifically, because that chorus is just so powerful. It's so strong. I don't even remember the lyrics, but
It's the feeling.
It's the feeling, man.
I get it, dude. I have so many
And-
songs that apply to my life like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like so the way I came about it recently was I was just talking about sampling, sampling old songs. A lot of guys like Kanye was really big on that
Right,
too, but
right.
even before that, with the Wu-Tang, with what's his name?
Oh, RZA? Is it
RZA, yeah, like sampling old records and
Okay.
making that into hip hop. And I'm like, I was with a friend and we were just talking about that. And my friend Vince, he was like, yeah, you know that song Addictive Love? And I was like, no, what song is that? Like, he's like, yeah,
You
BBCC
completely
Wanted.
forgot it.
I was like, I never knew the name. I mean, as a kid, I never knew the name.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? I just knew what it sounded like. So when I played it, I didn't know the verse. So I'm like, okay. And then the chorus came around and I was like, yo, my dad used to play this song every week, bro.
And this is why I do the podcast. For those exact little moments where all that
Bro.
shit comes running back. That's exactly why I do it.
Dude, the whole thing just like opened
Yeah.
up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. Like, I remember being in the kitchen, you know what I mean? Because we had our speaker in the dining room area. So yeah, he'd go over, press play, and the music would take over the whole house because he'd crank it up.
All right, so we're gonna start to wrap it up, but we mentioned earlier about your mom's role in your life. How it's kind of the same thing, just your dad now. How was your dad? How was your relationship with your dad like?
It was great as well. He's not. I mean, I guess I don't want to say like he's not emotional because mom's gonna be emotional.
Oh, shocker! Most dads aren't.
But some dads are, but
Right.
he was
Give them
more
credit.
so like, logic,
Right.
pure,
Right.
like, all right, this is what I remember. I remember one time from riding bikes with my friends, as a kid,
Yeah.
my friend Kyle got this ramp and we would just like run our bikes up the ramp and like do little jumps, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going
yeah.
crazy, no helmet, nothing. And I made the mistake. You know how they made the new bikes that you can pedal backwards?
Yes.
But the old ones, when you pedal back, it's the brake.
chain. Right. Oh yeah. When you push it and they just fucking stops.
It's the brake, yeah. And
I
the
remember
old bikes,
those.
that was
I remember
the brake.
those. I remember those. Yeah.
So I messed up. I forgot that I wasn't on my bike. I was on his brother's bike with the brake. So after I did my jump, I was going full speed. I went to do a back pedal and that joint stopped.
Oh, it just went.
I went flying, bro, in the street. My whole face first. I scraped like above my eyelid,
Man.
open above my eyelid. So I'm like leaking. I run home. I'm like, Dad, like I'm my mom wasn't home. She was at work. I'm like, Dad, I'm bleeding. And he's like, all right, well, you gotta get stitches.
I'll get stitches.
And I just start crying. I'm like, stitches? They're gonna put a needle in my eye. I'm like, what the like?
No reassurance, nothing.
Nothing, bro. I was like, all right, well, you gotta get stitches now. And I'm
That's funny.
fuck, but if that's my dad, yeah.
That's awesome.
He's like it's all in love, you know what I mean? It's all love.
Right.
But when it comes to like he's not gonna baby you. It's like this is
Right.
what it is. This is how you gotta do it. And that comes from his childhood as well. Everything stems from,
Right.
How
It
you
comes
grew
from
up.
somewhere. Yeah.
It comes from somewhere, yeah. But yeah, it was very logical. He showed me how to be a man. He showed me how to be a father just through his actions.
That's awesome.
There was no conversation needed. It was just like, you see what I'm doing. You see what's going on.
Right.
You see when
Right.
this need to get done, I'm doing it. You see I'm working 2 jobs. You know what I mean? I work nights, work during the day. Like, this is what you got to do to stay,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Take
Now,
care of your family, yeah.
Now I'm curious. You think if you play back Addictive Love for him, he will have memories? Obviously not the same type of memories you do or that emotion of it. But you think he'll bring back anything? Would you say?
Oh,
it would?
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. He'll probably start singing and clapping too. Like, he knows the words probably. You know what I mean? Like, that's his joint.
Yeah, that works.
It's like us having kids and then we play back to back or something.
Oh, what you know about this? That's really. Thanks again for coming on the podcast.
No, thank you, bro. This was great. This was great.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
this was great,
but,
man.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, it's that the reason I'm doing this podcast is this. I can't tell you how many songs like I'll hear, because thinking back and I think about it, especially in high school. So before there was the Apple iTunes we have now, like it was kind of like that, but I was the kid that would go on LimeWire and like download songs. But
I did not have
just
sexual relations.
download them. I wouldn't just download songs. I would like edit it, make sure it's the right name, like put the cover art. Like I'll Google the cover art. Like I'll put like I was that person. So when I tell you, I've like I'll hear so many songs and just bring back memories from moments of my life. It's a great feeling. It really is. Thanks again for being on the podcast, man.
Yeah, and thank you for doing this, bro. This is great.
Yeah.
Really nostalgic. Yeah. It's great to think about.
So before you head off, I'll give you the opportunity if you want to plug anything or say anything before we head off.
Plug, man. I have nothing to plug. I mean, you can follow me on IG, I guess.
There you go. I was about to say, get the socials.
Yeah, at least, yeah. IG is Abraham Music. It's ABRHM Music.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm trying to get better in my content game now that I'm out here, and it's like selling yourself again. And
yeah,
IG's the website, so you gotta push with that.
And TikTok,
but, yeah. Oh yeah, I haven't
TikTok.
even. Oh man,
yeah, bro.
I haven't even gotten into that.
I'm fighting it.
I love it, but it's important.
All right, man. Thanks again for being on the podcast. I really do appreciate it.